Supercoach has only been open for about a day, but that has not stopped me from changing my team at least 20 or 30 times. But yeah, having a blast with the team picker. For this video, we'll just look at a few, just discuss a few players, a few alternatives, what sort of changes I could make, what sort of trends I'm seeing in the Discord. So I think that'll be good to discuss. But yeah, I think the next few days I should put out a few videos. I think hopefully we'll get a podcast done within the next 2 days, and that'll be up. Also doing a video with DR and Spills, so good to catch up with them. I haven't spoken to them for a while, so that'll be good. See what they've done over the off season and whatnot. But for this video, I'll be discussing. Yeah, we'll go over I think a few Discord trends at the moment, but you know, in defense. Yeah, this video just basically be a freestyle video, just talk about Supercoach in general Supercoach chat. So in defense, out of these 5, I think I'm seeing most people run the 2+ day costs. Maybe someone has like a few Hayden Young picks out there as well. But yeah, I guess it's in terms of the most owned out of the top 5: Dawson, Doherty, Stewart, Sicily, Sinclair. I think 1 would be Dawson, 2 Stewart, 3 Sicily, 4 Doherty, 5 Sinclair. That wouldn't be my order, but that's sort of the ownership that I'm seeing at the moment. Yeah, a bit too much Tom Stewart for my liking. Yeah, definitely I think his dribbility is the worst out of the lot. I guess you could make a case for Doherty, but I think Doherty will actually get a proper preseason, which he hasn't had for who knows how long. So I do like Doherty. I think he'll start the season well, so I actually don't mind him fill out the defense. And then you got to think, look, it's too early for rookies, but I do worry that with the sub rule, I guess you don't want to have too many iffy rookies, because even like a Jack Bowes, could he be a sub candidate? It depends how good he goes over the preseason and how much they rate him and stuff like that. So he's one where like a little bit iffy, but it's just a placeholder for wait to see how he goes. Don't think McKenna will be sub, but like Gould, like a Wilmot, like who, okay, whatever players pop up, we'll worry about. But you know, the younger players are more chance than the mature age players to be sub, I guess. Unless they have some sort of other strategy, they use older players off the bench or something. But which is, yeah. Anyway, that's sort of why I like filling out the defense. I don't want to be in sub trouble, so. And then looking at the midfield in terms of trends, I'll just go over to this. The midfield, also in defense, I've actually seen a little bit of Elliot Yeo, maybe 4 or 5. So that's interesting. I know he's a calf issue at the moment, which is not what you want to hear. But he's a gun. Like he was a gun, but it's just, you know, is he in like Brett Deledio territory where there's not much return from injury? In terms of like soft tissue injuries, so you know, like Yo was pretty durable for a long time, but it just hasn't really. Late in his 20s, it's not going super great for him, but that'll be one to keep an eye on. And then in the midfield, so the main mids I'm seeing, the number 1 mid I think is Bontempelli. I think we've all kind of jumped on him just purely because, I mean, it's pretty simple. The CBAs are going up and he's fully fit at the moment, so. I don't really think there's much else to speak on Bont on, but I think, yeah, the role should slightly be better, and he's got that. He should be a good vice captain as well. So he's actually very consistent as well. So barely had a bad game. Barely dropped under 100 last year, and that was playing through injury for most of the year. So it is an issue that he cops a bit of knocks, but I think yeah, we're pretty keen on him. So I'm excited to have Bont in the team. I think most people have Clayton Oliver, not much Laird. I think a few people are tossing up between Oliver and your Tuke Miller as your M1. Not much Callum Mills, but I've seen a little bit of McRae. Yeah, I think we're all like not too sure with McRae. I just do not trust his coach one bit with his role. And then you got your no Petrarca, no Merritts. I think I've seen a little bit of Brayshaw, no Carlton boys, a little bit of Parrish as well. I think I've seen a Josh Kelly, but I think that's just provoking JD. So, and then you go down here, a little bit of LDU, a little bit of Tom Green. Not really my type of pick, but I think I like LDU to Tom Green if you're going to go someone. But yeah, they're both could be legit picks. And then at the moment, Tom Mitchell. So I think the logic behind Mitchell is, even if the pick doesn't go super well, he should at least go up in price. Potential to be a keeper for sure, and you want him to be a keeper. Does have the middle buy, so you can flip him if it doesn't work out, although he'll probably do better after the buy. But yeah, at that age where, you'd probably, what's he, 29 going on 30, something like that. Or 28 going on 29, I can't remember. So not too sure what sort of output we're going to get from him, but you'd think at least 105 with, I think his CBA should jump to 70, 75. We should be the number one mid in there. And we saw in the finals, Crisp and Pendlebury scored really well in the guts. So no reason why Mitchell can't score well. And when you go to a new club, you get a bit of a chip on your shoulder. So I think he's like the motivated type. So we'll see how he goes, but he's in for now. And I think I'll just leave him there until proven otherwise. Yeah, he can say that for now. Then Hopper, I think everyone basically has Jacob Hopper. And then you got your Ashcroft, your Will Phillips. I have Cooper Stevens at the moment. There's a few 300k players. I've seen a little bit of Dom Sheed. I'm not too sure. I think he should get a CBA mid-roll, you would think, but he can play elsewhere. Has been injured. I'm not too sure what his fitness is at the moment, but that'll be one to watch. Won't worry about the forwards. Warple, I'm not sure I see it with Warple. Yeah, just don't know. I feel like he's fallen out of favour. Apparently, Wanganeen Millero is playing halfback, but it's a bit too expensive. Apparently, Tucker's injured, so I took him out, and I think he's probably going to be a wingman rather than get inside mid time. So we'll leave that one. Flanders is a forward. Flanders is one to watch, I think. But it's going to be tough to get decent CBAs in that Gold Coast midfield. It's pretty tight in there. So I've gone with Cooper Stevens. I think the logic is they got all these young mids at the moment, and they got a big hole. They got Titch and O'Meara out of the midfield. So who actually plays in the midfield? Well, you got Connor McDonald and Ward. They can play elsewhere, but Cooper Stevens can't really, as far as I know, can't really play elsewhere. They got to just play him as a centre bounce mid. Apparently, Sam Mitchell really likes him, and we've seen Mitchell develop young midfielders really well over at West Coast, over at Hawthorn a few years ago. Look at Newcomb, Warple back then, not so much now, but Warple really improved under Sam Mitchell when he was midfield coach. So maybe we can see a similar bounce for Cooper Stevens. So for now, he's in. But yeah, a lot of emphasis. We want to see really good CBA numbers. Otherwise, it's probably a no-go. And then your Rooks, like whatever. Baker, I've heard might get a wing spot, which is good. He's got a bit of pace. Now you might be thinking, who the hell was that in the forward line? Or why the hell was Connor McDonald in your forward line? We'll get to that. But for the Rucks are quite interesting. So we're seeing a few different things. I think there's one Jared Witts person, Big Diamond in the Discord. I might join him and pick Witts, even though the problem with Witts is he had so many easy matchups. I think he's 30 now, but he gets a full preseason this time around. But he's pretty clear number one ruck. They can't play Moyle in the team, who's their second ruck, when they've got, Casbolt, King, and Scholl. I don't know if they play all three. Feels like it's impossible to play a second ruck if you've got those three in the team. You can just get Scholl to chop out. So, because he's only 25k more than Tim English, but he's far. I know he's got the ACL, but Tim English is not durable at all, and Witts is very durable. So when you think of it from a durability sort of perspective, or you put emphasis on his durability, Witts should be a better pick than English. But the thing is, I think English, we saw how well he started. Another preseason now, he's still pretty young. You could see him exploding, and then not owning him would be pretty bad if that does happen. So that's on the card. So for now, we'll pick Tim English. But I'm not super happy about it. I want to see his ownership. If his ownership is really high, not that that should factor into whether I pick him or not too much, but if his ownership's too high, that'll probably scare me a little bit and make me pick him. I think Enno's got Sean Darcy. I think sounds like Luke Jackson's going to play a lot forward, so that's can only be a good thing for Darcy. And then Nate could be a shout, but probably not. Grundy's very much a watch, and then there's a little bit of Rowan Marshall. I think maybe Jack Hayes comes in, plays that second ruck role rather than Tom Campbell, and they play Sharman for Max King while he's out injured. So that's one to... Yeah, I don't know about Marshall. Maybe I just go free up some money and go Rowan here. I don't know. We'll leave English for now. I definitely do prefer Rowan Marshall to English as a player, but just not too sure. And you got Darcy Cameron, so I think pretty simple. I think his ruck time should go up if Cox is out the team and McStay's playing that relief ruck role, because McStay has to play. They're paying him 700 or so from what I can remember. So yeah, the role should slightly improve, and he's got all those terrible forward games priced into him. So for that reason, I think he's should be a decent pick at the price, and the ruck forward just is a massive bonus for upgrading, for cover later on and whatnot. So in the forward line, we'll get to C-Mac in a moment. Seen a little bit of Cogs, seen a little bit of Butters, and a little bit of Dylan Moore. So all valid picks, no issue with any of them. Issues with Cogs, I guess, 560 seems like a lot. And that's probably around what we average, sort of that 98 to 105 mark, something like that is what you kind of expect from him at this point. Isaac is, I mean, I thought he was going to play midfield last year and he didn't, but he still played extremely well because he was fully fit for first time in a long time. And then your Butters, you got your injury issues. You got Dylan Moore. Like, what's his forward mid split? I don't know, but it sounds like he should get, with all those midfielders out at Hawks, he should get a bit of time in there. So you just got on the Dunkley, Rosie, Taranto. I think, yeah, Rosie and Taranto both got forward time sort of priced into them, so I think that should definitely diminish for both, and therefore leave them both underpriced. And then you got your kind of your mid. You got your mid pricer. It's kind of whoever floats your boat. You know, we could see some role changes. Like I think one I read today is Josh Bruce's training in defense. He's 160k. I know they got Gardner and Liam Jones back there, so I don't know how he fits in, but I guess we'll see how that goes. Lukosh just hasn't probably taken that next step just yet, and rolls a bit iffy. I'm not sure Ben Hobbs gets the mid-time yet, but I do like him as a prospect over the next few years. Perkins could break out. She was probably a bit too old. And you got Nat Fife. I guess if Nat Fife has a full preseason, do you pick him? Maybe. Tom Powell. So Thomas apparently is training at halfback from our resident North supporter, Big J, in the Discord. He seems to think he's playing halfback and midfield, training both there. So that'll be interesting to see how he goes. Apparently good, getting along with Clarko well, which is, I think, going to be very important for him. So he's an interesting one because he's massive talent, but clearly not in the... Didn't seem like he was in the right headspace last year, judging by body language and fitness levels. So we'll see how he goes this year. But yeah, 290 is very cheap, and he can do so much better than that. He was basically a premium for half of 2021, if I remember correctly. And now I got Connor McDonald here. So you might be thinking, why is Connor McDonald here? So hear me out for a second. I think if you look at Hawthorn's midfield, it's Jai Newcomb, and then what? It's like, I'm not sure Warple is the answer. Maybe he gets first opportunity, so that'll be one to watch, but I don't think he's the answer. You got Cooper Stevens, so I think he'll get some decent go in there. I think Dylan Moore specifically stated that he's a forward and mid last year, So do they want him pure mid? Probably not. Maybe it's sort of like a 50-60% CBA role, which is still pretty good. But who's getting the inside mid time? Well, I'm reading very good things on Connor McDonald. I watched him last year as a rookie, and he did get a few CBAs, had a big impact when he did get a chance. So apparently he's tracking really well over the preseason. Might be one of those pipe dream picks, but for this pick to work, there needs to be a big spike in CBAs. If there's no big spike in CBAs, then the pick is in the bin, basically. But he only averaged the 50 last year, but I was very impressed with him. Played a horrific role for Supercoach, just half forward, running up and down the ground into space and getting burnt all the time. It happened with Ben Hobbs as well. So just working really, really hard. And he ran out the season quite well. So for that reason, if they play him in the centre bounce, he's every chance to be a very good pick because the opportunity is there. It's just, with these Hawthorn mids, we just need to figure out who gets it, and whoever gets it, I think will likely pick. And for me, I think Cooper Stevens is probably the number one most likely, just because he's less versatile. And then Connor McDonald, I think will get some time in there. Maybe Josh Ward as well. He's the other one. But yeah, Ward can play on the wing. Connor McDonald can play on a wing and also can play half forward. So he might not even get a good role. So look, it's a bit of a fun pick to watch at the moment. If it works, and I can tell everyone I was early on it. If it doesn't work, then people can make fun of me, like they do for picks from 3 years ago. I'm still hearing Tom Phillips from JD, even though that was 2 years ago, because I thought he would be a centre bounce mid. So people don't let these things go, but you go early. I don't know, get a little bit of credit for it. But otherwise, if not, it goes completely the other way. And then look, Toby McLean, pretty easy pick. And then your rookies are more. I think you can. If I did pick 2 rookies for your bench, it'd probably be Berry and Connor Stone. From what I've heard, apparently he's having a really strong preseason and was a high pick, I think 2 years ago, first round pick 2 years ago. So yeah, 2 extra spots without Hopper and Taranto at the Giants, so maybe he gets a bit of a shot. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just going through the team and discussing the trends that I'm seeing this year.